China is a huge landscape where beautiful nature meets old traditions. This place has some of the most amazing views in the world that travelers love to see. Today, we will explore incredible places that are both beautiful and full of history. Every mountain, river, and rock has its own story to tell. You can visit the quiet old town, where a river flows slowly under old roofs covered in moss. In central China, there's a place where rocks and cliffs here look like something from a dream. Nature created this magical place, and it's waiting for you to explore. You'll see an old temple built right into the tall cliffs. A narrow path takes you along the mountainside, where you can enjoy both the amazing views and feel the spiritual history of the place. Each place we've mentioned is special and full of surprises. Get ready to explore these wonderful locations where China's beauty will amaze you and create memories you'll never forget. There are places in China where stone pillars rise 600 feet straight up, so impossibly thin that every gust of wind feels like it might be the one that finally brings them down. But they've been standing for millions of years, wrapped in mist so thick the line between rock and sky disappears completely. In some valleys, when light hits just right, the ground glows. Not like sunset, like something that shouldn't exist outside of a painting. These won't be found in glossy travel guides. There are no crowds here, no buses idling in parking lots, just silence and stone shaped by time itself. The kind of beauty that makes breath catch in the throat without permission. The ancient Chinese believed these were the places where heaven touched the earth. Stand before them, and the reason becomes clear. China's landscapes are so magical. They seem straight out of a dream. GAOYILING emerges from the Zhangjiajie landscape in Gansu province, where millions of years of geological activity created one of Earth's most visually striking terrains. The area is characterized by Dangxia formations, layers of red sandstone and conglomerate deposited between 540 and 65 million years ago. Then uplifted, folded, and eroded into the current landscape of steep ridges, narrow valleys, and multicolored cliffs. What sets GAOYILING apart is the intensity and variety of colors visible in the rock. Bands of red, orange, yellow, white, and even green and blue streak across cliff faces, creating patterns that look painted rather than natural. These colors come from different minerals and varying oxidation states of iron within the sandstone. Red appears where iron fully oxidized. Yellow shows partial oxidation. The terrain is characterized by steep, knife-edge ridges that rise abruptly from valley floors. some ridges are only a few feet wide at their crests, dropping hundreds of feet on both sides. Walking these ridges requires careful attention and steady nerves, as the exposure is significant and surfaces can be loose. Yet from the top, views extend for miles, revealing the full scope of the Yangtze landscape's wave-like patterns and rainbow colors. Erosion continues to shape GAOYILING. Rain cuts gullies down slopes. Wind strips away loosened particles, and temperature changes cause expansion and contraction that slowly fractures rock. This ongoing process means the landscape is never static. Features that existed a century ago may have changed or disappeared entirely, while new formations slowly emerge. Local legends imbue GAOYILING with supernatural significance. Stories speak of a celestial dragon whose body turned to stone, creating the red ridges that glow at sunset. On stormy nights, people claim to hear roaring sounds echoing through valleys, interpreted as the dragon's voice rising from within the mountain. Photographers particularly prize GAOYILING for its visual drama, as changing light throughout the day transforms the landscape repeatedly. Mount Fanjing rises 8,430 feet into the clouds of Guizhou province, crowned by one of the strangest rock formations anywhere on the planet. At the very top, the mountain splits into two separate peaks, connected by a stone bridge so narrow that only one person can cross at a time. These twin spires look like they were balanced there by some giant hand, rather than carved by natural forces. This place is one of China's most sacred Buddhist mountains and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The mountain's foundation is over 1 billion years old, formed during a time when Earth's continents were still drifting and colliding. The rock here is ancient metamorphic stone, compressed and twisted by incredible heat and pressure deep underground. Getting to the summit means climbing stone staircases that cling to vertical cliff faces, some carved into the rock more than 1,000 years ago by Buddhist monks. What makes Mount Fanjing truly special is the rare life that exists here and nowhere else on Earth. The Guizhou golden monkey, with its distinctive blue face and golden fur, lives only in these mountain forests. Fewer than 800 remain, making them one of the world's most endangered primates. The twin peaks at the summit hold Buddhist temples that seem to grow directly from the stone, their red walls standing against wind and weather. Thick fog surrounds the mountain more than 200 days each year, wrapping the peaks in white clouds. When the fog clears, the view stretches for dozens of miles, revealing layer after layer of green mountains, fading into blue distance. At sunrise, if conditions are perfect, the clouds below form a solid white blanket, making it look like the mountain is floating in an endless ocean of mist. Local legends say Mount Fanjing is where the future Buddha achieved enlightenment, making it a sacred pilgrimage site for Buddhists across China. Standing on the narrow bridge between the twin peaks, wind rushes up from the valleys with enough force to make you grab safety chains. and the boundary between the physical world and something beyond feels paper-thin.
Xinjiang Tianshan, Tianchi Scenic Area, Tianchi, meaning Heavenly Lake, sits at 6,400 feet above sea level in Xinjiang. Cradled between towering peaks that remain snow-covered year-round. The lake stretches nearly 2 miles long, its waters so clear that sunlight penetrates more than 40 feet deep, revealing a turquoise color that shifts from pale jade to deep blue depending on the angle of light. This lake was born from ancient glacial activity thousands of years ago. Massive ice sheets carved deep basins into solid rock, and when the climate warmed, meltwater filled these depressions, creating the pristine body of water visible today. The lake's depth reaches 344 feet in some areas, fed continuously by snowmelt from peaks that tower more than 16,400 feet overhead. Surrounding the lake, dense forests of spruce and fir trees cover the lower slopes, their dark green branches contrasting sharply with the bright water. The temperature stays cold throughout the year, rarely rising above 50 degrees even in midsummer. This keeps the lake remarkably clear, as few organisms can survive such conditions. In winter, the transformation is complete. The lake freezes solid, its surface turning into a vast white plain. The ice can reach several feet thick, strong enough to walk across safely. During this season, the entire landscape becomes a world of white and blue, with the frozen lake reflecting pale winter sky. Ancient legends claim this lake is the bathing pool of the Queen Mother of the West, a powerful deity from Taoist mythology. According to stories passed down for centuries, she would descend from the heavens to bathe in the pure waters, blessing the lake with eternal beauty. At sunrise, the lake becomes a perfect mirror, reflecting mountains and sky so clearly that the boundary between water and air seems to vanish.
SHENNONGJIA spreads across the mountains of Hubei province, covering over 1,250 square miles of some of the wildest terrain in China. This vast wilderness rises from valley floors at 1,300 feet to peaks reaching 10,500 feet, creating dramatic elevation changes that support an incredible range of plant and animal life. Dense primeval forests cover more than 90% of the area, their canopies so thick that sunlight barely reaches the forest floor. The region served as a refuge during the last ice age, where species survived that went extinct everywhere else. Scientists have identified more than 5,000 plant species here, including trees that grow nowhere else on Earth. The forests shelter Chinese giant salamanders reaching 6 feet long, golden monkeys with blue faces and long golden fur, black bears, clouded leopards, and golden eagles. The landscape shifts constantly with changing altitude. Lower elevations hold subtropical forests where massive trees tower overhead, their trunks wrapped in vines and ferns. Streams cut through these forests, their waters crystal clear and cold. Moving higher, trees transition to oaks and maples that create spectacular red and gold displays each autumn. Near the peaks, alpine meadows replace forests, where only the toughest plants survive harsh winds. Thick mist and fog shroud the mountains for much of the year, sometimes reducing visibility to just a few dozen feet. When this happens, the forest takes on an otherworldly quality, with tree trunks appearing and disappearing like ghosts. This perpetual moisture feeds countless waterfalls that pour down cliff faces, some dropping hundreds of feet. What truly captures imagination are persistent reports of a mysterious ape-like creature inhabiting the deepest parts of the forest. Local people have told stories of the wild man for centuries. Scientific expeditions have found unusual hair samples and oversized footprints, though no concrete proof exists. The mystery continues to draw researchers hoping to solve one of China's most enduring puzzles. Mount Emei rises 10,167 feet into Sichuan sky. One of 4 sacred Buddhist mountains in China and a pilgrimage site for over 2,000 years. The mountain slopes hold more than 30 temples, some perched on cliff edges so narrow that their construction seems impossible. The most famous is the Golden Summit, where a massive bronze statue of Samantabhadra sits mounted on a 6-tusked elephant. Standing 157 feet tall and gleaming in sunlight, the path to the summit stretches over 30 miles of stone steps. Climbing through ecological zones that shift from subtropical forests at the base to alpine conditions near the top. Lower slopes are thick with broadleaf trees, bamboo groves, and flowering shrubs. Waterfalls pour down rock faces, some dropping over 200 feet. As altitude increases, coniferous trees replace broadleaf species, and the temperature drops noticeably. Near the summit, only hardy shrubs and grasses survive the cold and wind. Temperature can drop below freezing even in summer, and winter brings heavy snow. Yet thousands of pilgrims make the climb each year, some spending days on the mountain path, stopping at temples to pray and rest. The mountain is home to Tibetan macaques with thick fur, who huddle together for warmth during winter. The most remarkable phenomenon is the Buddha's halo, a rare optical effect when sunlight shines from behind a viewer standing on the summit, while mist fills the valley below. The person's shadow is cast onto the mist, surrounded by rings of colored light like a rainbow. This has been observed for centuries and is considered a sacred sign. At dawn, if the weather aligns, climbers witness the sea of clouds. Thick fog fills valleys below while mountain peaks rise above like islands in a white ocean. As the sun breaks the horizon, it illuminates this cloud sea from above, turning it gold and pink. Standing in the cold morning air, watching light transform mist, the boundary between earth and heaven feels permeable. Yandang Mountains stretch across eastern Zhejiang province. A volcanic landscape born from eruptions that occurred roughly 120 million years ago. When the volcanoes went dormant, they left behind a terrain of sharp peaks, deep gorges, and towering cliffs formed from rhyolite. Over millions of years, water and wind carved these rocks into shapes that seem designed rather than natural. The mountains rise abruptly from flat coastal plains, creating visual drama that has inspired Chinese artists for over 1,000 years. Some peaks reach 3,800 feet, their sides nearly vertical and summits often shrouded in mist. Between peaks, narrow valleys cut deep into rock, their floors lined with streams that swell into torrents during heavy rains. The combination creates dozens of waterfalls, some dropping over 600 feet in single cascades. What makes Yandang truly unusual is how the landscape appears to change depending on viewing angle and time of day. Certain rock formations look completely different when seen from different positions. A cliff that resembles a dragon's head from one spot might look like an old man's profile from another. Ancient monks identified 102 distinct peaks, each with its own name and legend. Caves riddle the cliffs, some natural and others enlarged by monks seeking isolated meditation spots. These caves range from small alcoves to enormous chambers. Some contain ancient carvings, Buddhist statues, or inscriptions left by pilgrims dating back over 1,000 years. The vegetation varies dramatically with altitude and exposure. South-facing slopes support lush forests, while north-facing slopes stay cooler with mosses and ferns. One famous spot is the Flying Waterfall, where water drops 620 feet over a sheer cliff. During dry seasons, it reduces to a thin stream. After heavy rains, it transforms into a massive column of white water that roars, throwing up clouds of mist that drift across the gorge. The sound can be heard more than a mile away. Sceneic ancient town clings to the banks of the Tuojiang River in western Hunan province. Its wooden houses built directly over the water on sturdy stilts that have supported them for centuries. The town dates back over 1,300 years, though most existing structures were built during the Ming and Qing dynasties between the 14th and 19th centuries. Walking through Sceneic feels like stepping into another era. The river flows through the heart of the town, its clear green water reflecting houses that line both banks. These buildings are constructed in Miao and Tujia, ethnic minority styles, featuring dark wooden frames, upturned eaves, and intricate carvings. At night, red lanterns hang from every balcony and doorway, their light rippling on the water surface and transforming the town into a scene from classical Chinese paintings. Stone-paved streets wind between houses, worn smooth by countless footsteps over hundreds of years. These alleys are narrow, sometimes barely wide enough for two people to pass. Small shops sell traditional crafts, local specialties, and items used in everyday life by ethnic minorities. The sound of artisans working creates a constant background rhythm. Several stone bridges arch over the river, their designs hundreds of years old. The most famous, Hong Bridge, stretches 425 feet and includes covered pavilions where people can rest and watch water flow beneath. From the bridge, views extend both directions, showing layered roof lines against green mountains. The town is deeply connected to the Miao people, one of China's 56 recognized ethnic minorities. Their culture shows in architecture, clothing, festivals, and customs, maintained despite centuries of change. According to local legend, the town got its name from two phoenixes that flew here during ancient times, bringing prosperity and peace. The birds circled the valley 3 times before landing, blessing the land. Langshan Scenic Area in Hunan Province showcases Danxia landforms at their most dramatic, where red sandstone cliffs rise vertically from forested valleys, creating walls that glow orange and crimson in changing light. These formations developed over 100 million years through specific geological processes. Thick layers of red sandstone were deposited during the Cretaceous period, then uplifted by tectonic forces and carved by water. The area covers roughly 45 square miles, containing 6 distinct scenic zones. Some sections show massive cliff faces that climb 600 feet in single vertical walls, their surfaces marked by horizontal layers representing different periods of sediment deposition. Other areas feature narrow corridors where walkers barely fit between stone walls, rising hundreds of feet on both sides. Water played the primary role in shaping Langshan's landscape. Over millions of years, streams carved down through sandstone, following lines of weakness and gradually deepening valleys. During floods, water's cutting power increased dramatically, allowing it to carve through softer layers while leaving harder caprock intact. This differential erosion created the characteristic landscape. Tall pillars and peaks topped with resistant rock. The red color comes from iron oxide within the sandstone, essentially rust distributed throughout the rock. When freshly exposed surfaces weather, they often show brighter reds and oranges. Older surfaces tend toward darker browns and purples, creating natural gradients across cliff faces. At sunrise and sunset, when light strikes cliffs at low angles, these colors intensify, making the entire landscape appear to glow. Several temples nestle among the peaks, built by Buddhist monks who recognized the area's spiritual potential centuries ago. These structures use natural rock as part of their foundation, with some rooms carved into cliff faces. Walking the trails requires constant visual adjustment, as the scale tricks the eye, making distances difficult to judge. Wangxian Valley spreads across a mountain region where limestone peaks rise like dragon's teeth, creating a skyline of sharp points and narrow ridges. The name translates to Valley of Watching Immortals, referring to ancient beliefs that celestial beings would descend here to walk among mortals, and devoted seekers might catch glimpses of these divine visitors. The valley floor follows a river that has carved its path through limestone over millions of years. The water runs clear and cold, fed by underground springs that emerge from caves in the hillsides. During dry seasons, the river shrinks to a shallow stream. During heavy rains, it transforms into a rushing torrent that fills the valley with roaring water. Vegetation covers the lower slopes in layers. Bamboo groves cluster near the river, their stalks swaying in breezes that funnel through the valley. Higher up, broader-leaved trees take over, their canopy creating shade. Ferns grow thick beneath trees, and moss covers many rocks, thriving in constant moisture. Near the peaks, where soil becomes scarce, only grasses and small shrubs survive. Traditional buildings dot the valley, constructed using local materials and techniques passed down through generations. Stone foundations support wooden frames, and curved tile roofs follow designs unchanged for centuries. Some structures serve as rest houses for travelers, while others are small temples or shrines. Incense burns at these sites, and offerings of fruit or flowers sit on altars. The valley experiences frequent mist, especially during mornings and evenings when temperature differences cause moisture to condense. This mist drifts through trees and along the river, sometimes thick enough to hide everything more than 20 feet away. Ancient stories claim that during these misty periods, the barrier between mortal and immortal realms thins, allowing movement between worlds. Hukou Waterfall crashes down the Yellow River near the border between Shaanxi and Shanxi provinces, marking the only major waterfall on China's second longest river. At this point, the river narrows dramatically from roughly 900 feet wide to a gap barely 150 feet across, forcing enormous volumes of water through a constricted channel. The result is a massive cascade that drops 66 feet, throwing up clouds of mist and creating a roar heard miles away. The name Hukou means kettle spout, describing how the river appears to pour from a narrow opening, like water from a teapot. During flood season, when snowmelt and rain swell the Yellow River, the waterfall's power increases dramatically. Water volume can exceed 35,000 cubic feet per second, turning the cascade into a churning mass of brown and white that shakes the ground. The yellow color comes from the sediment the river carries from the Loess Plateau, one of the most erosion-prone regions on Earth. As the river cuts through thick deposits of fine, wind-blown silt, it picks up particles that give the water its distinctive yellow-brown hue. This sediment has been building for hundreds of thousands of years. The geological setting adds to Hukou's drama. The waterfall occurs where the river crosses a resistant band of rock that has not eroded as quickly as surrounding material. This creates the sudden drop. Over time, the waterfall will continue to erode the resistant rock and slowly migrate upstream. Though this process occurs so gradually, it's invisible on human timescales. During winter, parts of the waterfall freeze, creating massive ice formations that build up around the edges while water continues flowing through the center. These ice structures can reach impressive sizes, forming frozen sculptures that glitter in cold sunlight. The contrast between flowing water and static ice creates a visual paradox. Longmen Grottoes stretch along the Yi River near Luoyang in Henan Province, where more than 2,300 caves and niches have been carved into limestone cliffs over 400 years. Within these caves sit more than 110,000 Buddhist statues, ranging from tiny figures less than an inch tall to massive sculptures reaching 57 feet in height. This represents one of the largest collections of religious art created during China's medieval period. Construction began in 493 AD during the Northern Wei dynasty, when Emperor Xiaowen moved the capital to Luoyang and ordered the creation of Buddhist caves to demonstrate imperial devotion and power. Work continued through subsequent dynasties, with different rulers adding contributions. The Tang dynasty saw the most extensive construction, including creation of the largest statue, the Vairocana Buddha. The Vairocana Buddha dominates the Wangxian Temple cave, its face alone measuring 13 feet from top to bottom. The statue sits in a serene pose, hands positioned in a mudra of teaching, expression calm and slightly smiling. The proportions and craftsmanship demonstrate incredible skill, especially considering it was carved directly from living rock using hand tools. The limestone cliffs proved ideal for carving. The rock is relatively soft when first exposed, making it easier to shape, but it hardens over time when exposed to air. However, this same property makes statues vulnerable to weathering. Rain, wind, and pollution have eroded details from many carvings. Walking along clifftop paths, visitors pass cave after cave, each containing its own arrangement of statues and reliefs. Some caves feature single large Buddhas, while others contain hundreds of small niches. The repetition creates a hypnotic effect, image after image of the same religious subjects rendered in slightly different ways, reflecting changes in artistic style over construction centuries. Yungang Grottoes near Datong in Shaanxi province represent another monumental Buddhist cave complex. Carved into sandstone cliffs over a 64-year period, beginning in 460 AD. The site contains 53 major caves and over 51,000 statues, making it one of the largest surviving examples of early Chinese Buddhist art. Unlike Longmen's limestone, Yungang sandstone presents different challenges and opportunities for sculptors, resulting in a distinct artistic style. The statues here show strong influence from Central Asian and Indian art, reflecting Silk Road connections that brought Buddhism to China. Many figures have features that blend Chinese and foreign characteristics, with some Buddhas showing distinctly non-Chinese facial structures, clothing styles, and decorative elements. This cultural fusion makes Yungang particularly valuable for understanding how Buddhism adapted as it spread eastward. The largest caves, numbered 16 through 20, contain colossal standing and sitting Buddhas, reaching heights of 40 to 55 feet. These massive figures dominate their chambers, their heads nearly touching cave ceilings. The scale is overwhelming, designed to inspire awe and reinforce the power and majesty of Buddhist teachings. Cave 5 contains a sitting Buddha 55 feet tall, one of the largest sculptures in the entire complex. The figure sits cross-legged in meditation posture, hands forming the dhyana mudra of deep contemplation. The face shows serene concentration, eyes half closed in meditation, lips curved in the faintest suggestion of a smile. The political context adds historical significance. The Northern Wei dynasty that commissioned these caves was founded by the Tuoba people, a nomadic group from the steppes who conquered northern China. The massive investment in Buddhist cave art served multiple purposes. demonstrating imperial piety, legitimizing rule through religious patronage, and creating a lasting monument to the dynasty's power and cultural sophistication. Leshan giant Buddha towers 233 feet tall, carved directly into a cliff face at the confluence of 3 rivers in Sichuan province. This makes it the largest stone Buddha statue in the world, a title it has held since completion in 803 AD after 90 years of construction. The statue sits in relaxed pose, hands resting on knees, gazing out across the rivers with an expression of calm unchanged for over 1,200 years. The project began in 713 AD, when monk Haitong conceived the idea of carving a massive Buddha to calm turbulent waters where 3 rivers merge. This confluence created dangerous currents and whirlpools that regularly capsized boats and claimed lives. Haitong believed that a sufficiently large Buddhist statue would subdue the water spirits causing these disasters. The statue's scale almost defies comprehension. Each ear stretches 23 feet long. The instep of each foot measures 28 feet across. The head is 48 feet tall and 33 feet wide. More than 100 people can sit on the flat platform formed by the statue's feet. These dimensions required incredible engineering. Workers carved from the top down, removing rock in layers and using cut material to build scaffolding for the next phase. Perhaps most impressive is the drainage system built into the statue. A sophisticated network of channels was carved behind and within the Buddha's hair coils, collecting rainwater and channeling it away from the statue's surface. Without this system, water would have eroded the soft sandstone much more quickly. The drainage channels still function today, over a millennium after construction. Visitors can view the Buddha from several perspectives. From boats on the river, the full height becomes apparent. A steep stairway carved into the cliff beside the statue allows visitors to descend from the top of the Buddha's head to its feet. A dizzying route, including over 200 narrow steps clinging to the rock face. Mount Mian rises in central Shaanxi province, a mountain deeply connected to Chinese history and legend. Particularly the story of Jie Zitui, a faithful retainer who served during the spring and autumn period over 2,600 years ago. According to legend, Ji followed his lord into exile and even cut flesh from his own leg to feed him during starvation. When his lord became a duke and wanted to reward Ji, the loyal retainer refused and retreated to Mount Mian. This story gave rise to the Cold Food Festival, traditionally observed one day before Tomb Sweeping Day, when people historically refrained from cooking with fire in memory of Jai's sacrifice. Mount Mian preserves memory of these events through numerous temples, shrines, and cultural sites built to honor Jiezidgui and explore themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and integrity. The mountain stretches over 45 square miles, with elevations reaching 8,370 feet at its highest point. Dense forests cover much of the slopes, creating a green canopy that shifts color dramatically with seasons. Spring brings fresh growth and flowering plants. Summer deepens the green. Autumn sets the forest ablaze with reds and golds, and winter adds stark beauty with snow. Mount Mian is famous for its hanging temples, religious structures built into cliff faces or perched on narrow ledges hundreds of feet above valley floors. These temples use wooden beams inserted into holes drilled in rock, creating platforms that seem to float in air. The most famous, the Shuangkong Temple, has supported itself in this manner for over 1,500 years. Waterfalls add dramatic beauty to the landscape, especially after heavy rains when streams swell and cascade down cliff faces. Some falls drop over 300 feet in single plunges, their water atomizing into mist before reaching the rocks below. In winter, these falls freeze into spectacular ice formations that cling to cliffs like frozen rivers suspended in mid-fall. Zhangjiajie Wulingyuan stands as one of Earth's most unbelievable landscapes, where over 3,000 massive sandstone pillars shoot straight up from the ground, some reaching 1,200 feet into the sky. These giant stone towers were born more than 380 million years ago, when this entire region lay beneath an ancient ocean. Layer after layer of sand and minerals settled on the seafloor, slowly hardening into thick beds of quartzite sandstone. Walking through this landscape feels like entering another world entirely. Thick white mist rolls through the valleys almost every morning, wrapping around the base of the pillars and hiding everything below. When this happens, only the tops of the towers remain visible, floating in the air like islands suspended in clouds. As the sun climbs higher, golden light breaks through the fog, making the entire stone forest glow with warm colors. The paths wind between these formations, sometimes crossing narrow bridges that hang hundreds of feet above the forest floor. Glass walkways cling to sheer cliff faces, forcing visitors to look straight down into misty canyons, where trees appear as tiny green dots far below. Sound behaves strangely here. A single shout can echo 4 or 5 times, bouncing between stone walls before finally fading into silence. UNESCO declared this area a World Heritage Site in 1992, recognizing both its incredible geology and its importance to the natural world. Scientists have identified over 150 rare plant species growing on these vertical surfaces. Golden snub-nosed monkeys leap between impossible ledges, and rare birds build nests in stone pockets that humans cannot reach. The area gained worldwide fame when filmmakers used these formations as inspiration for the floating mountains in Avatar. Yet the real landscape surpasses anything created with computers. Each season transforms the scene completely. Winter coats every surface with ice, turning the pillars into frozen spires that sparkle in sunlight. Spring brings wildflowers that somehow bloom in solid rock. Autumn sets the valleys on fire with leaves that glow red and gold against the eternal stone. Standing at the edge of these painted cliffs, as sunset arrives, the rocks ignite in waves of crimson and gold that seem to breathe with their own light. The knife-edge ridges glow like dragon spines stretching toward the horizon. In that moment, between fading day and rising night, the ancient legends stop feeling like stories. They become the only truth that fits what the eyes witness. China conceals these wonders not out of secrecy, but because they exist beyond the reach of casual seeking. They demand the silence of deep valleys, the isolation of forgotten trails, the willingness to stand alone before beauty so raw, it strips away every comfortable assumption about what nature can achieve. These are the places where heaven touched the earth and left fingerprints in stone, where time moves differently, where silence carries weight, where standing still becomes its own journey into understanding how small humanity remains before the patient, unstoppable power of the natural world.